week, part of the week here in the USA as everybody starts to wake up about 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We start to see the true identity of the market start to take shape. We're up almost $2,000, or about let's call it $2,000 on Bitcoin right now. We've been talking about how we have to come up and retest that area right there at 114,678 to try to see if we can come up at least push past this first area and try to make a run up here and retest the rising wedge up there, at least the resistance that was created out of it. That's a possibility to come up there up to 120k, but we have to get above this 114.6, which we're starting to move right now. The weekly is massively oversold for Bitcoin, but the daily now all of a sudden here has gotten rather overbought in the daily. So this is a pretty interesting, I don't want to call it a diversion, but an interesting look to look at it in both scopes. Like the weekly's so oversold right now, but the daily has worked itself into a massively overbought scenario. So last time Bitcoin was oversold or overbought like this in the daily was sitting on Wednesday, August 13th. We found ourselves pretty high up there. And Bitcoin ended up, it corrected. It came from 124K down ultimately to 107.6. And now we found ourselves in that same overbought scenario, but we're not even at 114.6 yet. That's pretty interesting. So at some point, we're going to have to consolidate here, at least in the daily, and see if we can make a run at this, throughout the day. So we're trying to make sure that this is not a left shoulder, I'm topping reversal over the top, and that we're coming up to create a right shoulder by hitting that 114.7 area. That's what we've been watching for the better part of a couple of weeks. So anybody who's here this morning, I want to continue into this conversation with not just Bitcoin, but into XRP, into some of the other assets. And if things work out today, I would love to take another phone call today during this live. There's no particular way to know who, what, when, and where the circumstance. But we'll see what happens. Just throwing it out there into the universe. So I welcome everybody in. I really thank each and every one of you for being a part of this community. I want to go into today more tokens that I think we should have a plan on. And I want to go back to a buying strategy with a couple of tokens with my audience, to where I know a lot are skeptical on certain things and they want to be in these tokens, but they don't know when, where, and how. So we're going to do it together. One of those tokens is XDC. I was going to just buy a large whole buy on my own, but I think I'd rather over time here with the audience, while we're in certain ranges, I want to make a collective effort to try to involve the audience with XDC, because I believe it is one of the three with XRP, XLM, XDC that is significantly and substantially undervalued. And at a certain level here, this is going to start to go parabolic. And when it does, it's going to be something to be seen. Now, obviously, we're overbought in the daily with the stochastic. If you're not familiar with the stochastic, it's on the bottom. Just gives you a general dynamic here with the buyers and sellers and how the market with the price reaction and there's a lot of variables that go into it. But it's a nice little metric to look at. The weekly's back in neutral, which is about that 50 area with the stochastic rating. And that's right where we're at right now. Moving average convergence divergence is above us, the MACD. And right now that is trying to bounce off the support structure. However, we've been every single week, the flow has been going from a more bullish flow, and now you see it's pushing back into the neutral areas. But now it's one step away from flipping into the bearish, which would be a red. We haven't had a red in the MACD for XDC since the week of July 7th. So it's going to happen eventually here. And if it does, we're going to find ourselves in a scenario where we may be able to get some XDC. And I'm not saying this is 100% going to have is obviously I'd be lying if I said, hey, this is a 100% guarantee. But, if we were to not be able to get over that 8.5 area, we could find ourselves moving more towards an apex into mid-September, late September, if we wanted to break out after rate cuts. Or we could find ourselves falling through, which is a distinct possibility. And this is what I'm making sure that we don't have a scenario like this play out where we're going to clear out. Because a lot of our assets that we look at are getting to a point, and they've been at a point where the time frames are a little interesting. And XDC might be leading the way, how it already dumped down over time. And it hasn't quite figured it out yet. We're in the mid-tier ranges. The daily's obviously way elevated. We don't want to see it that elevated. But it can sit here and move for days, weeks, months, years. When you're in a bullish scenario, it's fine to be overbought. You need volume to cooperate, and you need the momentum and the what do you call it? The market momentum to be proper. But you can stay doing this for years. You don't have to go down. It's just with the way things are right now, it makes it interesting. It also makes it interesting, though, because XDC, like many others, like XRP, are breaking out of the first tier of these pattern consolidations. So it's definitely something to be watching. I feel really good about these things. XDC, it depends where you want to buy it. I don't trust Coinbase for many reasons, but I have KRAKEN Pro that I pay $4.99 a month for. You get up to you get $10,000 a month without trading fees. So, it's something. But you can buy it there. You can buy it on WEEX, but obviously you're not going to have the security of a tier 1 exchange with fire blocks. WEEX has a 1,000 Bitcoin reserve, so at least you get that. So there's that too. But I'll say hi to some of you. We'll have less people here in the mornings like this, which is actually a good thing because everybody's at work, and it's a completely different time to be on right now. Hopefully there's no ads popping up and this sounds good. But when my son's at school, it makes it to where I can come on in the mornings. And like I always say, I would do an update in the morning, but if we're having a back and forth, then I'll just do this, I'll keep coming on live. And I like coming on. So if you're watching, consider joining Tom's Army. Get the exclusive Telegram, join us in the community. And if you are in Tom's Army and you aren't in the Telegram, please go into the YouTube, on my YouTube page, hit the post section, and there's a link to the Telegram. Please click on that and join us in the Telegram. There's 474 people in there right now. And it's a beautiful thing in here. So I would just encourage you to join the Telegram. Or if you're in Tom's Army, I would encourage you to at least join us in there. Let me say hi to a few of you, and then we'll get into the XRP. Actually, let me go into the XRP chart, because I've been building a little bit of a dynamic here. So XRP, we're breaking out, as of right now, out of the short-term pattern consolidation. We haven't necessarily back-tested this pattern yet, but if we can move out of this range, we could end up pushing up to that 330 area before any major back test here, or even any major retracement. Because nobody says we have to do that. Like, if we take this from the top structure, like from the very top, you could technically measure it from here. But I never like doing that, because that's not where we would have started it. Because we had this measured here, and now you can redo it, but you wouldn't have done that to start, because you would have been looking at it at a structure like that as it was consolidating through here. And then when it broke up and around, this is where you'd be looking at it. So it would be inappropriate to put it up there, in my opinion. That's why it's not. I think so, anyhow, because sometimes you use the data, but you don't want to misrepresent what the pattern is. Otherwise, you get yourself in trouble. Right now, though, this is breaking out of this pattern, and as much as the daily time frame is massively overbought, which could be a problem here. as the USA wakes up. So just pay attention when the USA wakes up. Macro, we're fucking great. I keep emphasizing this day after day after day after. The macro is phenomenal right now. It's the micro that can give you cause for concerns, absolutely, but the micro is the micro. The micro should only be viewed as the micro. The macro is where you should be weighting it. Big time. Good morning. 9:11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Wednesday, September 10th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. Isn't it just a doozy when you wake up and everything's looking good? The market structure looks fantastic, and you look and you take a look at the stochastic and you go, oh, of course the USA is waking up, and the stochastic looks like that. But you also look at the moving average convergence divergence, the MACD, and you see the first positive flow for XRP in the daily, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43. So after 44 days of red in the moving average in the MACD, this is our third day we're showing green. That's a nice positive divergence there. You want to see a divergence. We also broke bullish in the MACD in the daily. Now, we are getting a contradictory in the stochastic being so overbought, but that just simply means we might just need to have a little retracement along the way. It's nothing to be worried about. The weekly, in fact, for XRP, as I stated before, I wish we would have kept going, but again, this is perfectly set up to have, even if we're coming up here how we are, we could have a retest for a rejection here and then push down into the oversold area in the stochastic. Some will be like, well, Tom, what? God damn it. Why do you keep looking for these bearish scenarios? It's not that I'm looking for it. I'm looking for a direction that can allow us that springboard to get us into the all-time high range that has never been seen at that 549 and 639 or 539 to 649. However it was when the bull market started. You know what I had, well, before the bull market, but we had set up well before these patterns ever did what they did now. If you've been watching, we've had these set up for years. So 549 and 638. So what is going to give us that springboard? And I personally believe if the market could give us the grace, which it probably won't because it always likes to be a pain in the ass. If we could back test the cup and handle appropriately at the wick points, which we already back tested the first layer, but if we had the widening range, just because of the way this is set up now, we've back tested it in the first area, but if we look at it from the farther out, just because of the way this stupid pattern ended up working out, but we don't have to do that. I just was looking for a little bit more of a springboard. I wouldn't even care if it came to 250 and then did it. That's just been an area of concern, but I'm looking for something to give us, it's almost like jet fuel. We're looking for that, takeoff. And I thought it would have been perfect if it could have lined up for rate cuts. What I didn't want to see is kind of what we're starting to do now. I didn't want to see the buy the rumor, sell the news, as in we're buying the rumor of the rate cut, and then we sell the news because it's like 25 basis points. That's what I don't want to see. Everybody's speculating. Everybody's saying 50 basis points. I don't even know if that's enough. I think they need to do for the risk on. Well, personally, let me start off by saying this so nobody gets the wrong perception. There's 82 people in here now. Fantastic. Thank you all. Make sure to hit that like button. There's 37 likes, 83 viewers. Hit that like button and help us push through the analytics. That's the number one thing I need to start reminding my audience. If you hit that like button, I would love to see more like 100% of you hitting the like button. And YouTube will push our content and allow us to push through the algorithm. That's the only way to do it. It's the truth. That's what YouTube uses, even more than the comments in the live. They use the likes. But as we go, my personal thing is, if I was in charge of the rate cut decision or rate hike, I would raise it by 2,000 basis points today. If I would come on and say, this is an emergency, we have no choice, we have to raise basis points, not have to, we just did, and I'm telling you right now, our federal funds rate went from 4.15% to 24.15%. I know Trump said we need to lower it to 1.5%, and that's what the government's saying, but I'm here to tell you we are screwed. This country's so far in debt, and you don't get out of debt by making it easier on yourself. You just make it worse. So it's 24.15% going forward. Your housing rate, yes, you're going to have to save, but just look at it this way. For anybody who's out there working in the general markets, your savings rate is now 24% year over year, which means if you have $100,000 in the bank, you make 24 grand a year for doing nothing, compounding. Next year it'll be 124. Well, after you pay your taxes, obviously you got to pay on the interest. But you get what I'm saying. So for anybody who says, oh my God, it would, no, it wouldn't bankrupt you. And that just means that anybody who's on government assistance, not for what you think, the ones who don't generally work, and you know who you are, you know who these people are, the people that abuse the system, that's not going to be there. That's not what it's there for. And if you are on government assistance, you'll fall behind. It'll still be there. But the worker gets taken care of. So if you have savings on 10 grand, you make $2,400 a year. That's what people don't understand. When they lower rates, they're lowering your savings rate. To see it at 4% is insane. My grandparents had it 20+%. You know how they paid for their house? Their savings. What they accrued in savings. So if whatever they needed for their down payment, they were getting in their savings in the bank. So that's what I would do. But our government, and what they're going to do, as I've been calling for this whole time, I said, we're not going to get a rate cut until September. But now on September 17th, what we need for risk assets is if we seen a 75 or 100 basis point cut right away, risk assets would jump alpha. They'd go unbelievable. They would just run almost immediately. Gold and silver would go parabolic. The more they cut rates, if you have gold and silver and mining stocks, just go, oh, buddy. Oh, my God. Like, we think it's going to be good for risk assets. Nobody talks about what it's going to be for gold and silver and mining stocks. I do, but you don't hear it very much. The more they cut rates, the more they talk about quantitative easing. Gold and silver just says, oh, boy. The mining stocks say, oh, my God. We are technically the cheapest way of getting the metals out of the ground. Like, it's not by accident. Oh, no, now Hekla's another 1.08% up over in the or pre-market. That's insane. We were buying Hekla when it had that dip. We bought more at $5.42 like a month and a half ago. It's insane. When you see how these move so quickly, I've been talking about this for this entire year. Look at this. We had this one final it's incredible what it did. It was all the way up to $7. And it had this drop down here on bad. I mean, it wasn't even bad. It just had a misrepresented drop. Came down to 557, and we're like, oh my God, this is the single largest silver producer in the USA, and it's on the extension phase right now. You know, this is what I expect for XRP. See how this pattern was, and it broke out, and then it came all the way back down and back tested the entire range. That's what I expect to see with the market. I expect a big clear out to happen very quickly. And this did it twice, but at the very end, it came up here and this was in November of 24, and then it dumped right before, and it ended up doing it all the way through about September. And then boom, from the point of no return, which we were cleaned up on this. We have cleaned up on Hekla mining all the way down to 467. Like, that was the starting point with this audience, if you've been paying attention. Back in May and June, that's where we started, not 467, 485, I think was my first purchase. And we culminated it at, you know, the doubling it at 5. It's up 110% right now from there. I've been doing better on miners, way better on miners. They're never talked about. I talk about them a lot. Remember, I sold 75% of crypto in January to move into miners. And now what have I been doing with my crypto? As they dump down, I've been reinvesting in some. waiting on others to get validation. But watching the miners 1x from there, it's insane. Once you understand the market pulls and the market transitions, and remember, for B2 Gold, we were buying it at $2.30, 50, 70, even up to $3.20. I think I bought more at $3.40 when it had that big drop after hitting $3.85. But we were getting dividends for the better part of 6 months at 5 point something percent. Cumulatively over the year, obviously. So it ended up working out to like 4 point something. It'll end up being this year because it's down to like 2.85% because the price. So now it's back. But we were getting paid to hold B2 Gold. And it was fucking phenomenal. And now all of a sudden B2 Gold is sitting up here at $4.23. I love this sector. Gold's up to $23 up again to 3,646. Barrick Gold is up to $29.32 in pre-market. We talked about this so many times. I was cleaning up this entire uptrend. But with the audience, finally in January, this is where we flipped. And this was one of the big purchases as well. I remember purchasing this. And that's when I'm like, my God, it's the transitional flip. We're at support here and resistance in crypto. It couldn't be more tailor-made. And then we bought it. I remember when it dropped to 19 again and we bought more. I think that was the final one. No, 22 was the final one, I believe. Yeah, 22. And then a lot of people in the audience like Barrick Gold too. A lot of people will leave because they don't understand, because they just want to know crypto, but that's okay. There's a lot of different ways to capitalize. Pan America Silver is another massive one as silver moves over $41. Pan America Silver had an acquisition. And I've talked about it, and I talked about it, and I talked about it. I said, this is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It had an acquisition somewhere back here. No, that was First Majestic back here. They had an acquisition back here. It ended up dropping the price down to 18. It was over at 24, so it dropped $6. And when it was at 18, that's when I'm like, guys, like, seriously. And then it went back up. It went from 25 to 19. Maybe the acquisition was here. It was one of the... No, it wasn't here. It was... Where the fuck was this acquisition? I think it was here. It was one of these big drops, but it was later in this year. Somewhere around here, and it just kept being like, this is the signal was down here, and we knew it before it broke out. But then it back tested, and then the audience, I started gathering more and more. But I mean, now seeing it at $31, it's coming back to the top of the resistance now, though. So this is where we have to see what even precious metals decide to do. Like, I don't know, because once this breaks out, it's going to be fucking insane. It's something that's been building, though, for a very long... This has been building since 2008. Like, the miners have been building for a very, 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 very long time. I mean, I have no doubt about once this happens, this will be in the $70, $80 range when it finally does move. And it's starting to. And they generally don't stop. But think about silver. If silver's at $50, $70, $96, triple digits, these silver miners are going to knock your dick off. They're not only going to knock it off, they're going to get a fake dick rebuilt before you can even realize what happened. Like, it's going to be that unbelievable. Like, you want to talk about styling and profiling, you're going to have a prosthetic. There's just so much opportunity in this sector. It's insanity. It's insane. It's why when I talk about crypto, it's like I would be so much more pissed off the way the exchanges do what they do and not being able to have exactly as much as I want. And don't get me wrong, I've got way too much money in crypto as it is, like over $30,000 in XRP alone because of how it's appreciated. You know, and then talking about having 9 or 10,000 in algo and having, what else do I have? I mean, I have a lot of money set up for things too. But like Band, having the money in Band and just having the money in things right now. that push a lot of command. You know, there's there's too much money in crypto right now. I can just tell you that much. With how the regulations, or just how they do things. I don't think ban's done yet, though. I think this is going to have a significant movement in time. I'm not sure that the consolidation's over yet to the downside. So be very careful with band if you're trying to buy now. Obviously, the 4-hour to reverse now, though, for some time. Like that inverse head and shoulders is setting. It's already set up. Yeah, I mean, that's already set up. I talked about the consolidation when it was way up at the top at $1, whatever, and I called 72, and I said that was the range where if you're looking at, that's where I would buy. And then you got to see if it rides down to 59 or whatever. But I'm holding mine right now. I'm not in the business of buying or selling this. I like to hold it, let it ride, and just over time, I like to see how this materializes. But this is one that I like. It's a speculative one for some. It's a data oracle. It's got limited supply. Some look at it as a pump and dump, and I'm not disagreeing with you at times. But remember, it's back testing the breakout, so that it was never going to go on one move. It was never going to happen. And like some ask, where can I buy band? There's a few places. I wouldn't buy it on crypto.com. It's just, you know, one of those things. It's too expensive. But like on on KRAKEN, it's 76.1 cents on KRAKEN. I was looking at the price to see what it was. 76.4 cents is what you have to buy it on KRAKEN right now. And then I like to compare for the audience. To buy it on WEEX, it's at 76.1, which is where I would probably buy it if I was my audience. Because the only problem with buying it on BitUnix is I can't send it off to any of these exchanges. So not being able to send it off is a problem. So let's see. Let's see what the options are on WEEX with band. So band, you can withdraw it as a ERC. That could be a problem because most, like they're letting you withdraw it like that, but I can almost guarantee the exchange is only going to let you deposit it on the band network. We'll see. We'll see how KRAKEN is. Deposit, band. Oh no, perfect. This is good. So you can buy it on WEEX and you can deposit it in KRAKEN because they allow you to do it through ERC. That's exactly what I would do. That's what I would do. Zero question about it. That's what I would do. Oh, fuck yeah, that's what I would do. Okay, so that's a great alternative. So if you're looking for band, I would do that route. I would definitely do that route. And now, let's see. I'm trying to save us some money here. Okay. So that's band. I would definitely do that with band. So there's a nice alternative. If you're looking for WEEX, it's in the pinned comments of this very live. That's how I would get banned. Abso-fucking-lutely. That's how I would do it. And that is in my long-term play. So whether or not you like band or not, I mean, that's your own prerogative. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. And I do this for entertainment purposes only. But if I was going to do this, that's how I would do it. No fucking doubt about it. There is zero question in my mind. This is how I would do it. So, you know, to each their own. But that's what I would do. Now, I want to ask one more question. Peaky Blinder, thank you so much for continuing in Tom's Army for 3 years now. Peaky Blinder is now in Tom's Army for 3 years with the XRP Diamond Hands badge. That's one of the top badges you can have in this community. There's only one higher out of them all. Only one higher. Which is the XRP Phoenix badge, which he will get in 1 year. I know it. I really appreciate that 3 years. That is unbelievable. That's unbelievable. I will say it again. That is unbelievable. I appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. You guys have no idea how much it means to me. I want to try something though. I can do this after. But let's see. I want to ask a personal question to the audience. I want to ask a personal question. Does anybody have a situation they're dealing with that they would like to talk to the audience about? Because we're getting deeper into this live. We're 30 minutes in. I'll go through the PPI. But I want to know if anybody has a situation they're dealing with that they would like to discuss it further with the audience. Oh, man. Yes. H-bar is definitely one. If you don't own, please. I own H-bar. That's one that I haven't gotten rid of since I rebought it back. So, you know, and there's a reason why, because I would like to build into it as well. But we were buying H-bar at 5 cents. So, like, I can't just be like, oh, I'm never going to buy it again. Is the count cutting in and out on everybody? Well, I wouldn't be surprised. That could be my fault, everybody. Hold on. But good morning, everybody. I appreciate everybody. Hey, it doesn't even have to be a bad situation. You know, it doesn't even have to be a bad situation. If there's, I would like to have some kind of situation. Oh, the sound is bad. Let me listen to mine on my own. I'm gonna listen to it myself too. I want to see how it sounds. Let me listen to mine on my own. I'm gonna listen to it myself too. Oh, I think it's good now. Hopefully. Guess you can never tell. Kcould be because I was talking too loud. No, that's a possibility. Mr. G. Stott, welcome in and thanks for being in Tom's for your second month with Dusty's Outhouse Crypto News. If your guys' stuff is choppy, restart the stream. Crawbillies, is it related to the ISO and the IoT, or is it something like memes? Is it like Internet of Things or the ISO tokens, or is it outside of that landscape? Tanya, welcome in and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XRP 589 Moon Badge. Thank you so much for being in here. That means a lot to me. One of our most popular members, I must say. Miss G. Stott, welcome in. And thanks for being in Tom's Army for your second month with the Dusty's Outhouse Crypto News. 35 months. Ooh. One more month and you're part of the big time. Well, you're already part of the big time. Big time. Tanya's big time. Big bear. Big bear. Now, what oh, man. How's Algo looking? Good. It's about having oh, this would be a great conversation. This would be a great conversation. Absolutely. This would be great. I would love to have a conversation about that. Crawbillies. Absolutely. So, hey, Crawbillies. Just so we don't get too far on time, send me an email. I know it'll be you because you'll tell me. Send me an email. And I'll take a call from you today. I'll send you a number to call. Don't share it. Otherwise, I'm going to have to change the number, and that's going to be a pain in the ass if I got to keep changing it because too many people have it. But I will. Oh, no, I understand what you're saying, my friend. But real quick, before I can do that, but I want you to send me a message so I can respond. We got to look at the PPI data. We got to look at the PPI data. Wholesale prices unexpectedly declined 0.1% in August as Fed rate decision looms. So the producer price index fell, which is the PPI, 0.1% in August after downwardly revised 0.7% increase in July, and well off the Dow Jones estimate for a 0.3% rise. So that's why the Dow fell down 49 points all of a sudden. I was wondering because it was green. I just happened to look up and it was down 47, between 40 and 50. The release provides breathing room for the Federal Reserve to approve an interest rate cut at its next meeting next week. Services price is a key metric for the Fed when evaluating the stance of monetary policy, posted a 0.2% drop. Wholesale prices surprisingly fell slightly in August, providing breathing room for the Federal Reserve to approve an interest rate cut at its meeting this month. According to a Bureau of Labor Statistics report Wednesday, the producer price index, which measures input costs across broad array of goods and services, dropped 0.1% for the month after a downwardly revised 0.7% increase in July and well off the Dow Jones estimate for 0.3% rise on a 12-month basis. The headline PPI saw a 2.6% gain. The core PPI, which excludes volatile food and energy prices, also was off 0.1% after being expected to climb 0.3% as well. Excluding food, energy, and trade, the PPI, which is the personal price or the producer price index. I think it should be the producer price index posted a 0.3% gain and was up 2.8% from a year ago. Stock market futures gain, blah, 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 blah. I don't care about that. So services, blah, blah, blah. Futures market pricing implies 100%. Who cares? So services price is a key metric for the Fed when evaluating the stance of monetary policy, posted a 0.2% drop, helping drive wholesale inflation lower. A 1.7% slide in prices for trade services was the primary impetus, with margins for machinery and vehicle wholesaling tumbling 3.9%. Goods prices did increase, but just 0.1% as core prices rose 0.3%, while final demand food costs were up 0.1%. Energy was off 0.4%. Not the inflation shock that was not as rocketing markets higher as inflation barely has a heartbeat. I'm not going to listen to nonsense, but that's basically what we're looking at right now. So, see the news. I'll just put it in the news. Yeah, that's what we're looking at. So, that's what the PPI looked at like today. So, I don't think it's... No, Crawbillies, I was reading. I can't do two things at once. I'll send you an email, I promise. 1970 Legend, thank you for the $9.99 donation. And also being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. And being a very trusted mod in here. And also our fellow Ohio State Buckeye. He's our resident Buckeye fan in the audience. I know there's more than one, but he's our most famous Buckeye fan. As we know. Very, very nice supporter. Very good soul. At least the Big Ten kept it in, at least the Big Ten kept it 2 years in a row. After having a very big downturn. But, you know, this is where we watch the market, so we have no choice but to watch the markets. Ronald Grump, Mr. Grump himself, I'll be goddarned, has joined Tom's Army for his first month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens, so we know he's a brand new member. And because of that, Mr. Grump, Ronald, I'm going to share on YouTube in the post section. I can't show the audience, otherwise somebody will splice it and try to con our audience as they did last time, which is a shame. But I'm going to share a link for the Telegram, Mr. Grump. And you better join us in that beautiful community. I just posted it, so if you're in Tom's Army, this is going to pop up for the members only. And if you're not in the Telegram, please join us over there. We have 400 and hopefully the 75th member with Mr. Grump, Mr. Ronald. And we have 261 members now with, I think, let me check. I like to be transparent with the members of Tom's Army. It could be going down. I don't know. I haven't checked it in a minute. It tends to go down. over time, and then we get a boost, and then it goes back down. Yeah, 258 members. So Ronald made member 258. So we lost 3 members in the last couple of weeks. That's okay. It happens. But we did gain Red Sea Dragon 3 days ago. Wawa Woa yesterday. And Ronald today were our newest members of Tom's Army. So thank you all so much. Be patient with an 80s millennial. Hey, I was born in 83, so I get it. I get it. But thank you so much. Says I've been watching too long not to join. Excellent. So let me send Crawbillies a message because I'd like to get this discussion going on. We've already been on for 40 minutes, so this would be a perfect time. We got through the PPI, we got through some things. But we can talk about algo. I have a 40,000 algo, as some of you know. Yeah, I don't see a message from you, my friend. Let's see if it got put in spam for some reason. No. Yeah, I don't see a message in my email. Crawbillies, I don't know why, but I don't see a message from you. Oh, yeah, 2 G's. Okay. Yeah, it's strutrugali@gmail.com. STRUTRUGALI@gmail.com. That is strutrugali@gmail.com. I wish it would just put the thing so you could copy it, but it never does when I put it on here. It's stupid. Yeah, no, it's like right now with what it's appreciated to, it's like 9,000 something in algo. It's like 9,600 and some change. So no, it's not a joke for sure, but it's I think it's gonna be something big. Thank you, Dan Marginal. Thanks for being in Tom's Army for your second month with the Dusty's Autos Crypto News. And I appreciate you saying I'm amazing. I really appreciate that. Crypto Plumber 589, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your third month with the XRP Meteor. 1985 there. Yeah, you're born the same year as old Vincenzo, my brother. I don't know why well, maybe for some reason I don't know why I'm not seeing a message. Let's see. Let me try to send one to myself and see if it gets there. I don't really know would want one real world asset when there's safety and variety. Well, I mean, it depends what your definition of a real world asset is. I mean, algo could fit the bill for them. I mean, I've seen, you know, I mean, that's not illogical. It's not illogical. Oh, there we go. This is 1970 Legend Go Bucks. Yeah, see, I got a message from 1970 Legend, but I have not got one from Crawbilly, so at least I know I'm getting messages. He says, "Go Bucks, you son of a bitch." He knew he was going to get me there. But an RWA coin from that standpoint, like if you're looking at it from that perspective, would be Epic. They're creating that ecosystem for the connectability, but I don't know, we're starting to get a little bit of movement here, which is nice to see. It is nice to see. But I just want to make sure, You know, for anybody who's paying attention, like this is a like where we're moving right now. So just pay attention to this market because when it moves, it's going to do it rather quickly once we finally do get that validation. And we could be working on the validation right now. Like literally, that is something that could be happening. The Russell 2000 right now, let's see. Yeah, that's the one I like to pay attention to as well. The Dow's all of a sudden down 100 points here. We'll see if this continues. So be careful if you're trading today. It's very volatile. Very volatile. So just pay attention to this market very closely. Understand that Bitcoin it was coming up to this area regardless. To hit this retest, but we're getting rather oversold here in the daily. So let's see what happens here. We still have that bearish cross in the daily. Let's see how the market reacts. Don't get overzealous because you're seeing a little bit of green. But just this is good. This is a real good thing. How about them Sooners, though? I was at the game. Oh, man, I feel so proud for you. For you to be a Sooner fan and seeing that. I think this is a great year for... my worry playing Oklahoma this year was they have a real quarterback this year. And Brent Venables, I always liked him at Clemson as the defensive coordinator. So I know he's a hell of a defensive coach, but it takes time. He came into a bad situation with Lane Kiffin. I know Lane could put up points, but the guy didn't know how to coach defense. So he came in with a bare bones defense. So he got judged rather harshly his first couple of years. But look at what happened with Jim Harbaugh at Michigan. He had a couple of good years, but like he had some really bad years building into a championship. I think if you stick with Brent Venables, he could build it into a championship team, especially they get a lot of money for the program, just like Michigan. And now that you have a great quarterback, that your offense wasn't great, but the quarterback can win games. That's what McCarthy did for us. The numbers didn't look spectacular at all times, but he did what he needed to do to win. And I think Oklahoma's got a better than not shot to make the playoff. That's a big win versus Michigan. Michigan could very well have 10 or more wins this year. But yeah, that was a great win for Oklahoma. Like, it was a great game, not for a Michigan fan, for me, but, you know. I mean, it was a good game to watch because we were resilient. We reacted how we needed to. We tried to make a comeback. We just didn't have enough fortitude. And we weren't going to beat Oklahoma. I didn't feel like we had, in my understanding of the schedule, Oklahoma was one of two losses that I had on my schedule. At Oklahoma, and the second one was, I don't remember what the second one was. It definitely wasn't Ohio State. But it might be. You never know. No, the interior offense looked like ass. I'm disappointed with that part of it. We look like the same offense, except when Underwood bailed us out a few times. We look like the same offense with the like what we had last year. So it was disheartening to say the least. But Corey, thank you so much for the $1.99 donation and also being a Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. Oh yeah, college football, Mr. Popcorn Bud, and thanks for being a Tom's Army for your second month of Dusty House Crypto News. Is definitely a lot more even across the board. Now, I mean, if we play the way we did against Oklahoma, I didn't expect us to beat Ohio State last year, so who the hell knows? Last year, I would have thought we lost 75-7 if we were lucky to get 7. That's what throws this whole thing off for me. I didn't think we were going to win last year. I mean, I hoped, you know, but I wasn't necessarily expecting it. Let's see. Yeah, I don't like the NFL either. I'll watch the Lions, but like it pains me to watch the NFL, so I don't. Heckler Mining's up 3.93%. This is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. The United States' single largest silver producer is cooking. Hey Tom, hey, I got it. Crawbillies, I got it. I've learned a lot from you, but I don't know anybody else to ask these questions to you, and I will surely pay you. No, you don't gotta pay me. Please let me know how to proceed. Okay. I'm I'm going to send you my phone, the phone number I want you to call into. And then you can call me. You can call me, and we're going to have our second live call-in. Now, we are 50 minutes in, so I would like to do this sooner rather than later. But, you know, this is going to take a slightly different turn. So we'll make sure everybody can hear. But yeah, so this should be fun, and it's gonna be a different dynamic this time. So here, I just sent it through to you. So whenever you're ready, feel free to call into the number. Have to send it one by one right now because you know, there is no budget for a phone studio, so this is all self-directed by moi. I would like to see some crypto trying to make a bigger pull than they are right now, if I'm being honest. Right now, it almost looks like a trap. Good morning, Gray Paul. Welcome in. Gold's up to almost, oh man, 3,650. And silver's starting to move a little volatile now. If we can get a little bit of upward volatility, this could make it for a very interesting day. The Cannabis Podcast, I'm loving this. Oh, the Cannabis, make sure you watch Cannabis Podcast on YouTube. Look, go to Cannabis Podcast. Whoops. Oh man, it's really gonna do this to me this time. Look, I hate how it blocks him out with all some of the other people because, but he's on here, I promise. I'll pull it up later and share it. Trying to make sure that I have everything ready for if Mr. Crawbills, I had your name all wrong. Yeah, I sent you a message. Crawbillies, I sent you an email. Call the number. I sent you the number. You can call it. Let's see. As we're watching the market, just try to figure out a direction here. Bitcoin was over 114, got up almost to that 114.6. So this is the biggest part of this market right now. Do we get over this area, or is this where we get lambasted? Right here in real time. So this should be very, 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 very interesting. Let's see. I love this community too, Cannabis Podcast. I do. It's something a little bit different. It's a little bit different. Florida attorney marijuana is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. I believe that it was put here by our higher power for our medicinal, all things medicinal. There's a lot of things on this planet that are put here. The only reason that prior generations might not have known, which they probably did, we're just not taught about it. Well, we know less, I think, than our ancestors did about herbal and holistic healing. We know less about if we go into nature. Like, look at, we've got creeping, what are they? Creeping Larrys out here, or whatever the hell they're called. Creeping, what the fuck are they called? Creeping, I don't remember what that, I don't even know. I don't think they're creeping Larrys. They're creeping something. And they just look like a weed that wouldn't even be out there because most people use weed killers. But yet this thing's got so many different medicinal purposes. It's insane. There's so many different things. I don't even know why I said creeping Larrys. That's so funny. Billy! Billy, I need your phone call. I'm pondering. I'm pondering. Corey Killis says our QB is electric. I honestly thought OU played like crap and still won with clean up. Oh, absolutely. But see, that's how Michigan won a title. We played dirty. We looked like it wasn't always pretty, but our defense did what it needed to do to keep the other, keep our opponent scoring reasonably low. And then our star quarterback and running back, obviously Blake Corum and then Donovan Edwards, wasn't as big of a star. But to us at Michigan, he's a legend because obviously against the Buckeyes, he did what he did. And then in the national title game, he had 2 straight runs for like 60-plus yards to put us out 14-zip early. And we never looked back. But yeah, and Arch Manning looks like a deer in the he does look like a deer in the headlights. He sure does. He sure freaking does. Here's a phone call. Let's try this. So, bear with me, everybody, and please, I need to know. Hey, where did he go? I guess I'm calling you back. Can't go away that easy.
Hey, this is AfterWeCleanIt.com or BNB Cleaning and Restoration, or BNB Carpet Care. We can clean roads and do ground upholstery, pressure wash houses, all kinds of different things. So I'd love to give you an estimate. Just leave your name and...
Okay, maybe that wasn't Crawbillies. I don't know who the hell that was. Apparently somebody who wants to do restoration on something. So we're still waiting. We are still waiting. We're going to get smacked again. I feel like we might be. I'm hoping not. I'm hoping the market just pushes through here. Because if we can get through 114.7, we're looking at 120 firm. Or 121. A move up there, it's 121. But a move up there is going to give us some freedom with the altcoins. So that's what we're hoping for. We just need to get past this section. So we're close. We're close. If my Thunder and Sooners win a championship in the same year, I might have an out-of-body experience. Well, I don't want to be mean about the Thunder, but just like my Lions, you get one chance, usually. And we blew it. Creeping Charlie, that's it. That's it. It's Creeping Charlie. That's why I said I don't think it's Larry. It is Creeping Charlie. You're absolutely right about that. Hello?
Hey, Tom.
Hey, Crawbillies?
It's Craw.
Can I just call you Billy? Hello? We seem to be having some difficulty here. Well, I don't know. The call is gone. So maybe we'll have to do this a different day. This doesn't seem to be working out so well. Yes, there's been a very long cup and handle on XRP. That's what we're trying to break out of. We're just trying to make sure we don't back test this on the way out. But this cup and handle has been going on. And we broke out of the handle. We're just trying to see. Well, not technically out of the handle yet, but this started. So that's the handle, but it's this whole cup. This is the handle of a much bigger cup. But a short-term cup and handle, we started. Because this is technically one big handle right now, believe it or not. This is one big handle on the cup from prior. That's what can lead us up to 549 or 639. But this short term, yeah, I mean, this has been going on nearly a year now. You know, so it's been interesting. Let's try this one more time. Hello?
Hey, Tom. I'm trying again.
Yep. How you doing, Billy?
I don't know. I'm doing I'm doing crossing, Tom.
Cross them. Well, it's good to finally talk to you.
It is. I don't have your name wrong. I've been emailing you for 2 years, trying. Seriously. So I'm excited to talk to you. Yes, sir. I hope this phone holds up.
Yeah, we'll do our best. And let me just ask the audience real quick if you can hear. We got the southern accent coming in strong. I love it.
Yep. I'm southern as they get, about 200 miles. I'll be in the drink down there. So.
Right on. Yeah, let's get into it. What did you want to talk about?
I'll tell you, one of my biggest things, and hello everybody, is I'll get excited about a token. You know how you listen to, you get excited, and then you find yourself with a lot of $20 and $30 tokens. You get the Floki, you get Lear AI, Axelar. I mean, I know some of these, like I've started investing in Flare and looking into that protocol, and I think I have like all the ISOs taken care of. But my problem is getting hung up on. I'll have $200 or $300 worth of $10 investments, and then I'm thinking, man, so I just need to put all of this into XRP now, and then after I have an increase, go back to these. I know that they'll be higher also because they'll follow the Bitcoin protocol. But as everything is increasing, should I guess I know it's not financial advice, right? But you can't really tell me.
Well,
but everybody here is probably thinking that. That stuff like that. Should I put $50 or $60 for? Should I put my money in that, or should I just wait and go all in with the ISOs for the first year or so? I guess that's my question.
Okay, well, yep. No, I get the gist of it. I'll let you, we'll talk back and forth. But for me, especially when I was at the earlier stages, even now, I'm not, like, when I look at something, I look to see how much, like, if I have X amount, let's just say I have $3,000. If I'm looking at an asset, and, like, at the time, we can base it on XRP. Let's say my whole portfolio was $3,500. That all was going into XRP at 35 cents because in my mind, I wanted to have a $10,000 or 10,000 token holding on the ISO tokens. Now, I didn't opt even now to go to 35, 40 different tokens and have, $500 or $1,000 in. I instead opted for, okay, I like this part of the infrastructure. So like with XDC, I like that because it knocks out the basis of the R3 Corda. So instead of taking out all the other tokens that hit that same framework, I decided to try the one that kind of does the most work in that area. Same thing with IOTA. The reason I like IOTA so much, it is a mainframe token which helps build the entire networking of the Internet of Things connectability. So instead of trying to go to every single minimal one, I start there. So like for your question, like with the Floki and all of that, like for all intents and purposes, Floki's, let's just call it for what it is a meme token. So I understand putting $40 in it or so, but if you've got 10 or 15 or 20 different tokens that you've got $30 or $40 in, just the odds of making a truly life-changing or a truly different, like building the portfolio up enough to where you can now take those and put it into something else in another cycle, it's going to be truly difficult. So me personally, and obviously this isn't financial advice, I can only tell you what I personally do. I would take the $40 out of each of those and look at some, let's say it gets you $500 or $1,000. Instead of having 20 or 30 different tokens, I would rather you look at something, and let's just, for example, I'm just going through my list, and obviously you don't have to listen to this, but I would go through something, and it's as simple as you could look at XDC, you could look at VeChain if you're looking at something a little bit cheaper. But it's more about like where your mindset is. Like, what do you truly believe in? I know you like XRP, but we also have to be realistic. XRP right now, and I'll tell you this on the phone for anybody who calls in, just like I would tell you on the air. XRP at $3.01. Yes, it has a lot of appreciation that can happen, but you're talking about from here to 1x, we have to basically maximize this entire pull in this bull market. And yeah, we could break out and it could go higher, but the max potential that I was seeing from a technical aspect is only up to 649. And I say only because it's at $3. I wouldn't have said only at 35 or 50 or 70 cents. But now you're starting to accumulate into the higher parts of the traffic. Like, I would much rather see you start building with something like XDC and start building into something that has not even come close to maximizing its potential, even if the market does have a downturn, which is that's obviously up to you. Where
Yeah.
no, go ahead.
I got XRP at 11 cents, and up to about 50.
Yeah.
And now it's even hard to buy at $3.
I wouldn't do it, because now you're talking about you did your due diligence down there. Like, you've already done your job. Now your job, if you want to further invest in this market, is to find the next one that is technologically like an XRP, but like it's an ISO or an IOTA, or even if you're trying to identify an AI or real world asset, you've got to find something with utility now that your heart believes in. But it's the wandering eye that I talk about. The wandering eye is one of the most difficult things when you're looking at assets. It happens to me in crypto, mining stocks, even when I do emerging markets, because there's so many different options. But it's kind of like it's that you got to have that laser focus. So you've got XRP. That's one of your ones you like more, like I do. I understand that. What other tokens are you building on that you're like, okay, I don't have enough of these tokens, and if I didn't have this meme token, or if I didn't have this speculative one, I could be building more and more into this asset? Do you have anything where you feel like that, where you don't have enough, but you could have more if you didn't have so many side holdings that are small?
True.
That's where I always start.
I look at that. I listen to that. May I add something?
Yeah, go ahead.
So look, I've been watching your free content and sending a couple of super chats here and there. I'm 63. I didn't know anything about nothing. I didn't know Discord. I didn't know Telegram. I didn't know anything. And I listened to you. So I want to just say here publicly that you have helped me, like hundreds of us on this call. I'm sure you show up every day. I have learned TA from you. I've learned how to do a process, how to watch the chart. Even though I've lost thousands of dollars trying to learn how to trade, now I can look at the chart and see on a respectable basis how it's laying out, what to look for maybe tomorrow because of the TA that I've learned from you. So I just want to make that public that you have helped us since March of 2021, every day you're showing up and helping us. And it helps us put things in perspective and learn from each other and read the comments, see our struggles, and get the perspective and find out the future and, maybe become a millionaire with you, because we're all kind of working to learn. It's hard. Now, I have had a hard time reaching out to somebody to ask questions, so I feel very blessed today. I've been manifesting positivity, and I feel very blessed today that I could get on this call with you and get your name right, get your email, and I'm very encouraged by it. So I know that's off subject, but thank you, okay? Thank you very much, Tom. God bless you.
Oh, I really appreciate that. Like, that really sums it up why I do what I do. Because, like, I always try to push the message, like, I could do this on my own, but I also stay more in tune by having everybody here. Like, I feel not an obligation, but I feel like a responsibility than the fact that I was given the foresight and I was also given the ability to understand this stuff. For whatever reason, I'm good with this kind of stuff, but I feel like when you understand something, you shouldn't, I don't know, there's certain avenues, like if you're like a tradesman or, you know, you're a contractor, you're putting electricity or you're working on houses, obviously you have to charge money for your experience. But like in this regard, I always believe if you're good at something like this, you should be able to speak for yourself with your trading, and not just that, but like I built an audience. Like I shouldn't have to hide behind paywalls and things. And you're a perfect, his call cut off, but he's a perfect example. His call cut off, but he's a perfect example of why I do what I do. Because you don't know, from 18, he's 63, you know, and he's learning. And because of what we do here, he's able to start to move ahead here. But, you know, I'll leave it at that today. That was very nice for me to hear. Let's just put it that way. That was very nice. Like that was, and Crawbilly, thank you so much. Seriously. And for everybody who listened, I appreciate it. I'm going to be incorporating more with the audience and the calls. This was the second one. So, you know, I'll put that on as a standalone. Like 700 people watched the first call in, which was great. But we'll continue to do this. So I appreciate everybody. We'll have another update soon. And I'm going to let that sink in for a minute and let that play through. Just watch the market. You know, if you're buying something, make sure you're buying it not just because you see a little bit of green, but because it's part of your fundamental approach. And then obviously over time, if it's something you truly believe in, every single time you get a nice drop because you're building into an alt season. Now, you're welcome, Billy. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I would like to, in a couple of weeks, I would like to, 1970 Legend. I never got the ability to gift people. They skipped my channel with that, so I don't know. Some say it has something to do with because it's $9.99 and they only let you gift channels if you only have $1.99. But I don't know. They've never given my channel the ability to gift, which sucks. I would love for that to be a possibility. Believe me, I would. But it's not for some reason. And I've talked to customer support and they've never actually been able to identify the reason. But thank you so much for the $9.99 donation. Julie, Billy said thank you, the one who just called in. To you. She said you're welcome. I think she's a bit surprised that she got thanked. She's a big part of what I do too. You guys know that. Now I'm going to go take my walk real quick. But I'll try to figure out more of that. Thank you all for the 101 likes during this live as well. That's incredible. Wow. If Trading with J-Ride was in here, we could have a nice little laugh right now looking at B2 Gold. We both said, when it gets over $4, we're just going to sit here and say, oh my God. And now it's at $4.29. It's one of those. There's so many of them. Look at Heckla up 5.4% again today. This is unbelievable. So the $5.99 channels you can gift to, interesting. Interesting. I wish they would let us. I do. But, you know, it's just the way it goes sometimes. But, yeah, I mean, I don't have an option for that. I wish I did. I do wish I did. Yeah, I only have the option on mine for super thanks, super chat, and super stickers. And then when I go to memberships, I don't even have an option to turn any gifted memberships on or anything like that. Which is unfortunate. Because I get asked that a lot from people. They want to be able to donate to others. And I get that. I wish you could. I don't know why it wouldn't let you. But apparently, not yet on mine. Just now checking in. But there's one more for the road. Yes, indeed. One more for the road. But be blessed, everybody. We'll be back before you know it. We will be back before you know it. Just watch this market And let's see if we can continue to push out. Ethereum, it's at 4,400 and change. Now that we're over, if we can stay over 4,416, our next layer up would be to push what looks like an apparent rising wedge, possibly. That's up at 4,900 area. So just like with Bitcoin, it opens up the door here if we can push out. Got room in the 4-hourly, which is nice to see. We've definitely got room there. Daily's got plenty of room. So hopefully this can be a start of a push here. But only time will tell. Only time will tell, but proceed with caution.